Hi here! Well, it's Valentine's Day coming up, and so I thought I would make some hearts. And what I did was I went on to Clip Art and I downloaded some hearts, and then I printed those off on Rapid Resizer to the size I wanted, and then used a piece of plexiglass to make a template. So I made this size, and this size, and this size templates. Ah, cool. So let's make some hearts. So this is the awesome cart that has been made for me, and it holds all of my scrap pieces that I like to make my little crosses out of. So I'm going to use these little pieces to try to make some hearts the same kind of way. I am just going to put the plywood down, and I'm going to glue the pieces to the plywood, and then I'll put the heart shape over the top and I'll cut that out. So I have two ready here for the big, and then on this piece of plywood I'll make the medium heart and the small heart. And I have all those pieces ready to go, and I'm just going to glue them till the square is filled, and then I'm going to cut the heart out. That's my plan. We'll see if it works. I have a bunch of pieces that have a 45-degree angle on the end, and they are too short for the larger sized heart, so I used them for the medium sized hearts. I laid them all out, checking to make sure it was enough to make the heart, then sanded the pieces. Not perfectly, just getting the fuzzies and sharp edges off. I wanted a more unfinished look to these, so I glued the pieces down onto the thin plywood using Titebond Quick and Thick. I moved that aside to let the glue dry, and then did the same thing with the larger heart, using the longer pieces that had a 90-degree on the end. And when I had enough to fill up the heart area, then I again sanded off the sharp and fuzzy edges, then glued them onto the plywood again. Okay, I'm going to take that one away, and I'm going to bring this one back because I think it's ready. I think it's, ooh, oh, maybe I didn't need that. Oh yeah, I didn't need that. Okay. Then I traced the heart with a red Sharpie. Before we get started on this, we need to go out and look at the sunset. Check it out. Whoa. Isn't that just so pretty? Wow. Oh, so pretty. I made the heart more manageable by cutting away the extra plywood using my little bandsaw. Then I followed the outline of the heart. I was thinking about keeping one piece long right through the center like an arrow through the heart, so I left one piece. And I was seeing that the heights were too much, so I sanded it with the belt sander a little bit. So it's going to be like a arrow through there, so I'm going to change that shape a little. Let's change that. I drew different arrow shapes and thought about adding a triangular arrowhead to the tip. And I ended up scrapping this idea and just cutting off that arrow altogether at the end. Then I moved on to the big heart, and I put the template on it and I traced it with the red Sharpie. And then I took it to the miter saw to cut off the extra plywood. And even though this heart is really big, I was able to cut it pretty well using my tiny bandsaw. And then my blade broke. I had another blade. It happened to be very dull, but I was able to finish up the little bit I had left to cut. Yay! I am going to just smooth up where it might not be smooth on around the edges, and then I'm going to sand a little bit on it. So I use this sander to help make those curves smooth. Then use the pneumatic drum to put a nice gentle curve along the edges, both on the front and on the plywood backer board. Then I rolled up some 220 and sanded over the edges again just to make them uniform since they are all different heights, and the big sander couldn't reach everywhere. Here's the big one, and here's that medium-sized one. I'm going to put a verse on the back with my logo. Yeah! Yes! It says, do everything in love. 1 Corinthians 16:14. And you know why I think the Bible tells us this verse? To do everything in love? Because it's so easy to hate people. So it needs to tell us, point blank, do everything in love. And then that word love, it's not like Valentine's Day love. It means to be kind and stuff like that. So, yeah, I wish we had a different word for love than just love. Happy Valentine's Day, by the way. And I transferred my logo to. And on this small one, I am putting Philippians 1:3. It says, every time I think of you, I give thanks to my God. Which I think would be good as a Valentine's gift to the person that you love and are thankful for. And I put my logo on this one too. Yay! Woo! Here are the first two original ones, and I made a few more. Yay! And it's been fun. So now I'm going to put some Old Masters on them. Woohoo! The ones that I have the back finished, I will do the back also. This Old Masters gel poly has become my favorite. Well, I have a lot of favorites, really. It's just nice to use different favorites for different projects to give it the shine or feel that you're hoping for. This is my original one. Okay, oops. This is the original. The first one I did. The Old Masters gets wiped on and then wiped off, and it feels dry to the touch right away, but it isn't really set up for about 6 hours. Well, the hearts are all finished and dry and set up. So there's the first big one, and here's the next one I did, the little one. It's another great way to take care of scraps. And I don't know if I would call this piece a purple heart a scrap, but it's kind of thin. Anyway, it's been sitting around for so long. It worked perfectly here. And then the other ones too, just all sorts of fun, different ideas with the scrap wood. And yeah. So thanks for joining me, everybody, and we'll see you next time. Bye! I made a whole bunch more hearts too. Some I just cut out of wood, and some I used some little tiny sticks that I had.